10 reasons most people stay broke their entire life. If you had a leak in your kitchen dripping just one drop of water every second, you probably wouldn't panic. You'd place a bucket under it and tell yourself you'll fix it by Saturday. But water is patient. By the time Saturday arrives, that single drop has multiplied into 86,000. By next month, the floorboards are rotting. By next year, the entire foundation is compromised. Poverty functions exactly like that. It isn't a sudden landslide that buries you overnight. It is a slow, rhythmic erosion of your potential, occurring one tiny, invisible decision at a time. Most people aren't broke because of a single catastrophic mistake. They are broke because they are being bled dry by a financial system they were never taught to see, effectively subsidizing the wealth of everyone else while they do it. Reason 1. The illusion of the new. The first reason is the most seductive. We are the only species on Earth that feels a sense of inadequacy because our tools are 18 months old. Consider the smartphone. Functionally, the difference between last year's model and this year's is negligible. You won't notice the marginally faster processor. Your eye can't even perceive the extra detail in the camera lens. But the marketing isn't selling a tool, it's selling a status update. When you spend $1,000 on a phone you don't need, you aren't just losing $1,000. If you are 30 years old and invested that money instead, that phone actually cost you $15,000 in lost retirement wealth. The wealthy understand that a tool's value lies in its utility. The broke believe a tool's value lies in its ability to signal that they aren't broke. Reason 2. The convenience tax. This leads directly into the second reason, the great outsourcing of effort. We pay people to drive us 3 miles. We pay people to bring us a sandwich. We pay people to grocery shop for us. We tell ourselves we are buying back our time, but that is a lie used to justify our laziness. Unless you are using those saved 30 minutes to generate an hourly rate higher than the delivery fee, you aren't buying time, you are burning capital. A $5 delivery fee and a $4 service charge on a $15 meal represents a 60% tax on your own hunger. Do that 3 times a week, and you've spent $1,500 a year for the privilege of not walking to your front door. Reason 3. The subscription parasite. The machine becomes more predatory with the third reason. In the old world, you owned things. You bought a movie, it sat on your shelf. You bought software, it stayed on your computer. Today, you own nothing. You are a permanent tenant of your own life. Corporations realized that a one-time payment of $50 is a poor business model. They would much rather charge you $10 a month forever. It sounds small, just the price of a coffee. But when 12 different coffees exit your account on the first of the month, you are no longer in control of your overhead. You are being nibbled to death by digital ducks. This is death by 1,000 autopays, designed to be so small you never feel the bite, even as you bleed out. Reason 4. Financing depreciating assets. This fourth reason truly separates the players from the pawns. There's a specific kind of madness in taking out a 5-year loan to buy something that loses 20% of its value the moment you turn the key. The average car payment in America has climbed over $700 a month. That is a staggering amount to spend on a metal box that spends 95% of its life rotting in a driveway. Wealthy individuals buy vehicles based on what they can afford to lose. The broke buy cars based on the maximum monthly payment a dealership will allow. When you finance a lifestyle, you aren't the owner, you're just the curator of the bank's inventory. Reason 5. The "I deserve this" trap. The fifth reason is deeply psychological. This is the emotional reaction to a stressful week. You worked 40 hours, you're tired, so you buy expensive shoes or a lavish dinner because you earned it. It's a reward system that keeps you in the very cage that caused the stress in the first place. This is the irony of consumerism. We work jobs we hate to buy things we don't need to impress people we don't like. The "I deserve this" mentality provides a short-term hit of dopamine that creates a long-term debt of anxiety. Moving to the sixth reason, we find the misuse of credit. Most people treat a credit limit as an extension of their salary. It is not. It is a high-interest product sold by people betting on your failure. When you carry a balance, you are paying a 24% tax on your past choices. Imagine a store where everything costs 25% more just for you. That is life with credit card debt. You are literally paying for the privilege of being poor. Reason 7. The lottery of hope. The seventh reason is the sale of a dream. Whether it's lottery tickets, speculative meme coins, or sports betting apps, the poor are sold the big win. The math is cold. These systems are designed to transfer money from the desperate to the mathematically literate. Spending $20 a week on a dream adds up to over $1,000 a year. Over 40 years, that represents $250,000 in lost wealth. You aren't buying a chance to be rich, you are ensuring you stay poor to fund the glitz of the casino or the state's general fund. Reason 8. The brand tax. The eighth reason is often the most visible. There's a strange phenomenon where those with the least money are the most desperate to wear the loudest logos. A plain white t-shirt costs $10. Add a designer horse or a swoosh and it costs $60. You are paying $50 to be a walking billboard for a billionaire. The truly wealthy often practice stealth wealth, high-quality items with no visible branding. They don't need a logo to validate their existence. When you buy a brand, you are often paying a premium to signal a status you haven't actually reached. Reason 9. The education myth. The ninth reason involves the blind pursuit of credentials. We've been told that any degree at any cost is a golden ticket. Consequently, we take on 6 figures of debt for degrees with zero market utility. We spent 4 years learning how to think, but never learn how to build. We graduate into a debt-to-income ratio that feels like a life sentence before our first day of work. We bought a product, higher education, without calculating the return on investment, assuming prestige would cover the interest. It doesn't. Finally, the 10th reason, the high cost of being poor. When you can only afford the $5 pack of toilet paper instead of the $20 bulk pack, you pay more per sheet. When you can't afford a $500 car repair, it eventually becomes a $3,000 engine replacement. When you miss a payment, you get a late fee. When your balance is too low, you get a banking fee. The system is rigged to penalize struggle and reward surplus. What is the conclusion? This is the uncomfortable reality. We live in a world optimized to harvest your potential before you can ever plant it. We are told the economy is driven by consumer spending, which is just a polite way of saying the economy is driven by you trading your future for a present you'll forget by next Tuesday. The math doesn't lie, but it does hurt. If you invested just half of what the average person spends on these 10 traps, you would be a millionaire within 30 decades. But the system doesn't want millionaires. It wants consumers. It wants people who are just comfortable enough to keep working, but just broke enough to never quit. As you look at your bank statement this month, don't look at the numbers. Look at the stories. Look at the drops that are rotting your foundation. Ask yourself, who is actually getting rich off your convenience? Who is profiting from your "I deserve this" moments? If you continue to buy what the system tells you to buy, whose life are you actually building? Because at the end of the day, you are either a builder of your own empire or a brick in someone else's. Which one are you today?